Hello! And that was an extra long hello for young Grace, who I know watches my videos. Right, anyway, episode 183, yeah, I'd think then. And I'm back down on Aspen Lake, down in the Cotswold Water Park. My fifth go at having a fish here. I'm going to be trying something different again, just to try, just to try something different, to try and work out all the different techniques. I mean, if you've been watching all the videos I've done here so far, you'll know on these early stages on getting to know this lake, I'm trying something different every time to try and understand the lake and what works and etc, etc. So absolutely blazing hot. So it's only mid-morning so far and the sun is already blazing. I haven't got the rods out or anything yet. All I've done is got the bivvy up, so when I need some rest and some shade, the bivvy's up, because I will be needing it. Tomorrow is forecast to be extremely hot. I think they forecast it to be the hottest it's been in this country for 16 years tomorrow. So it's going to get mega hot. But anyway, I haven't been down here for 6 weeks. Everything's starting to look a bit greener. The island is a bit greener. The weed in the lake looks like it's starting to come up a bit now. So I think my first port of call will be getting the marker rod out. I haven't got anything else out yet. Literally just the bivvy is up. So. Right, anyway, alright, if I keep waffling, I ain't going to catch anything, so let's do something carpy, let's go fishing. Right then guys, so as it's been about 6 weeks since I was last on this lake, and 8 weeks roughly since I was last in this swim, I'm going to have a bit of a lead around with the old marker rod. There's in that time since I was here last, from walking around the lake earlier on, one thing is which is very apparent now, and that is the weed is starting to grow now. I don't know if you can see some of it down in the margins down here, some of the broken off driftweed. But there's but certainly the weed is a lot more prolific than when I was here last. I mean, I think last time there wasn't any, and after I parked my van up and walked back to me swim, it's quite obvious there is a lot more weed now. So I need to make sure that my spots that I fished before in this swim are still clear. So like I said, I've only got a marker lead on, no float. I don't need the float on. I know the depth's out there. This rod I'm going to be marking up to is about 9 foot of water, 13 foot in the middle, and then 9 foot again on the other side. But so I'm already clipped up. So I'm just going to have a bit of a lead around now. Like I said, no float. I don't need the float, and I'm using the old Avid marker lead. I love these ones because they're like bomb shaped and got them fins on. If there is anything in the lake, when you drag it back, if there is anything in the lake, the splines of the fins will pick up anything that's out there. So that's my marker lead of choice. Right, let's have a look and see if my old spots I fished before are clear or not. That probably landed about a rod length away from the reeds, and in truth I probably want to be a little bit closer than that, probably by 5 or 6 foot. But to be fair, just there is absolutely clear. But that's good to know. So if I do get me cast a bit wrong later on, once the rigs are on, and I do land a bit further out, there we go. Brought a little bit of weed back. There we go. Fresh green weed. Right, let's have another go at that, but try and get about half a rod length off the reeds. That's better. Yep. It's still clear, and I've just found the old, the little gravel spot that I fished on before. Straight away. Oh, that's good to know. That is the left-hand rod, which I know is clear. And to be fair, if it's clear in 9 foot of water, if I bang it straight down the middle, because it's about 4 foot deeper straight down the middle, I would expect that to be clear too. Which it is. Right, that's good to know. So, I mean, I can visibly see there's a lot more weed in the margins now where it is shallower. But yeah, the spots that I want to fish, or have fished before and want to fish again, it's good to know that they are still clear. Right. On the right hand rod for this session, I'm going to try sort of about halfway between this bank and the spit. So if there's any fish cruising between this part of the lake up to the rest of the part of the lake, you know, hopefully the right hand rod will pick them up. But I can't mark up from this angle, because if I do it from this angle, I'll put me lead straight in the tree above me. Right, well I'm going to check the right hand rod, the area on a fish, and then well, hopefully that's clear too. Right, this is the angle I'm going to need to cast my right hand rod from. Slightly overshot that. Right. Stick that in the clip there. Don't overshoot too far, because there's a guy in the swim to the right of me. Right. Let's try that again. Bit short that time. That is about spot on for where I want to fish my right hand rod. Right, let's have a feel. Is that clear? And it is. Right, that's good to know. Some of the weed that's floating in the margins. Once I'm fishing later on, I might use my marker lead actually to try and drag it out of the way, because probably right in the area where I, if I do catch a fish, I'll need to stick my landing net to land it. So I'll try and drag all that floating weed out of the way for hopefully the ease of landing a fish. Right, let's get that spot on the wrap sticks and see how far that is. Not far, I should imagine. 7-8 wraps, something like that. Shorter than I thought, about 6 3/4 wraps. Hi guys, so just sorting the rigs out for this session, and God, I haven't even started fishing yet and I've just noticed how red I am in the camera. Right, so yeah, so I'm just sorting the rigs out. So I've decided to try a different tactic again for this session, and that session will be PVA bags. And if you've been watching all my sessions on here up to now, following what I've been doing, every session I've done so far, I've done some sort of baiting up strategy. But, this session I'm going to fish just the PVA bags and no bait, just to see how that goes. So I'm just getting the PVA bag lead rigs are sorted. So I'm going with inline drop-offs. So I know you're going to say, but there's no weed on your spots. Yes, I know there's no weed on my spots, but there is weed in the shallower margins, and if I do get a fish on, I want to be able to get the fish up as high as I can in the water to be able to play it over the weed, and the only way you can do that is without the lead. So like I said, inline drop-offs. So I'm sure most of you have seen an inline drop-off rig now, but basically it's set up with the leader on the outside of the lead. So basically you have a sort of a half swivel which attaches into the bottom of the lead. Obviously the quick clip what your rig will go on to, and then like I said, the leader goes around the outside of the lead through the tail rubber and then the tail rubber keeps it in place on the lead insert. And then what happens if you do get a fish on, basically with the fish pulling that way and you pull in that way, what happens is that every time the lead will drop off and the fishy comes up in the water, thus hopefully avoiding any weed and whatnot. And when you first put these on, what's best to do is wet the top of the insert, wet the inside of the tail rubber, and then basically that will aid dropping the lead in the event of a fish being hooked. So that's that bit, and then the rigs I've got tied. So basically my basic sort of PVA bag rig really. I've stepped up the hook size to a size 4 for this session because there are big carp in here. Sort of the average size of carp in here now is upper 20, low 30, so nice big hook. Barbless as per rules. 15mm pop-up, and they require a AAA split shot to keep them pinned down. So that's a white bait. This one is a wafter, so obviously no split shot on that one because it doesn't need it. So dumbbell wafter for that one. And then like the first rig, 15mm pop-up, yellow bait, and all the baits are exactly the same. So Steve in Hinders, I gave him a phone call and said the new Beat Nana range, I said I like it, but at the moment you're only doing hook baits in kind of match the hatch colours. So I said, any chance of having some of the Beat Nana in coloured hook baits? So he said, of course, no problem. So I've got the Beat Nana, they're the 15mm, Beat Nana 50mm in the white, and the Beat Nana dumbbell wafters. And then also I got the white wafters and 12mm pop-ups as well, which I won't be using this session, but I've got them for future sessions. So if any of you guys want to use the Beat Nana, and like me you're not a fan of kind of match the hatch kind of coloured hook baits and you like your hook baits a bit more brighter to stand out, just give old Stephen Inders a bit of a call or an email. I'm sure he'll make you some too. Here we go then guys. First cast of this session. Finally. It's actually mid-afternoon now and I've been here since mid-morning, but this heat has just absolutely paralysed me, to be fair. I've been doing a little bit and then sheltering in the shade, doing a little bit more than sheltering in the shade, and a little bit more than sheltering in the shade, and but here we go, finally about to get fishing. About 5 hours after I actually turned up on the lake. Bang on, about halfway between this bank and the spit out there. Exactly where I want it. Oh, rod number 2. I haven't clipped this one up. I'm just basically just going to pub chuck this one straight down the middle. Obviously, because I've said I'm not going to bait up this session, just rely on the PVA bags, so I don't have to worry about fishing to any accurate spots. So yeah, this one's just going to be pub chucked straight down the middle. Probably went a little bit right, if anything. This weed in the margins is already being a pain to sink the line. I think after I've got all my rods out, I might get in with me waders and scoop out as much of this floating weed up the margins as I can, just to get it out of the way. Third and final rod about to go out. Again, this one is clipped up, unlike the middle rod, because it's going to that spot down by the reed lines that I know. Happy with that, landed about 6 foot off the reeds. Pretty much where I wanted it. I've left it so late in the day as well, before getting the rods out, what with this heat making me go slow and everything. That'll be it for the evening now. I won't do any more recasting on these rods now, unless any fishy action comes along. I know I don't have to worry about the buoyancy of these baits being 15mm baits on the pop-ups that I've got on, so I know they will happily stay out there all night, no problems. Alright guys, it's been a quiet day so far. You wouldn't believe it by looking around, but it's actually 10 o'clock at night at the moment. It's amazing how light it still is at this late at night. But yeah, fishing wise so far, not even a knock so far. I saw one sign of a fish earlier on, and have a guess where it was. No, not on any of the spots I'm fishing, but on the right hand area where I have fished before in this swim, sort of just off of this spit here. Basically, the area where I have fished in the previous times in this swim. Now I've put a rod over here. Now the fish start showing over here where I did fish before, but so that's typical. But even though I saw that one fish bosh out, and it was a big one as well. If it wasn't a 30, it was definitely up near that mark. But I didn't wind in and recast that spot just for the sake of one show. Oh, been bitten. So nah, I didn't wind in just for the sake of one show. I mean, just because one show's there, it doesn't mean to say nothing isn't going to be over there where I am fishing. So oh, God, mozzies are bloody getting me. So So as I said earlier on, yeah, because I left it so late in the day before actually getting fishing, what with this hot weather we had today, I've not re-chucked the rods. Just, you know, they're PVA bag rigs, you know. You don't need to re-chuck them. You know, once the bag opens up, you've got your pile of attraction there, so you don't really need to recast just for the sake of doing a recast if you've not had anything. So right, I think I'm going to go and get in the bivvy now. Finally cooling down a bit now, thank God. I'll watch a film or something on my tablet and put some bite lotion on this bloody mozzie bite as well. Right, hopefully guys I'll see you in the night. If not, see you in the morning. And I've literally just walked away from doing that update saying I've not had a knock since I cast out. And I just had one on my left hand rod. Isn't that typical? Good morning guys, and welcome to the surface of the sun. Is that hot? Oh, it's only just gone 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've just had a look at the weather app on my phone and it's already 21 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. And the same weather app says by 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon we've got 31 degrees. Whew. Wow, that's continent weather, that is. God. So yeah, but obviously by the lack of nighttime footage, nothing happened. I had one liner in the night, that was about it. But yeah, I haven't done a recheck yet this morning. I've got a mate coming down to see me soon, so I'll have to wind in soon because I've got something in my van that my old reels actually, that I'm selling to a mate, so I'll have to wind in and go back to my van to go and get him them reels when he gets here. But yeah, not a lot else has happened really. At the moment I'm just trying to sit in the shade of a tree behind my bivvy and just trying to keep cool, because like I said, I'm already melting now, and by early mid-afternoon it's going to be another 10 degrees hotter than what it is now. I'm not looking forward to that, I tell you. Anyway, right, I'll probably get back to you later on when I'm probably just a puddle of sweat and piss and blood, I expect. That's putting the rods back out. Absolutely dying here. But yeah, I just had to go and have a walk around the lake to go and use the on-site facilities, and had a bit of a, you know, mooch what was going on around the lake. Had a chat to a few of the other anglers on the lake, and no one's had anything, and with this kind of weather that's to be expected really. But yeah, I know some of you would probably comment, why don't you try zigs on most waters with this kind of weather? Yeah, I probably would, but for whatever reason the fish don't really sort of cruise around on the surface, or sort of, and a lot of people when I first started fishing here just said zigs don't work here, so I'm sure many of you will comment on it, but I'm sticking with the bottom baits for now. But anyway, this is the first rod going back out of the day. pretty much landed on the spot where I told you I saw the fish bosh out yesterday. Alright, third and final rod to go out. Middle rod, I've just done the same as I did yesterday, just pub chucked it straight down the middle. If anything, today's cast probably went a little bit further. I don't know, maybe 18 wraps or so. But this one is going back out onto my little known spot by the reeds. Right. I think I'm down to about 10 stone now. Hi guys, one small development with the session, and it's nothing to do with the fishing, it's the weather. We're now in the forecast kind of hottest part of the day, where it's they're saying it's going to be 31 degrees, but kind of roughly the same time, about an hour ago, no, 2 hours ago, the wind has picked up and changed directions, and I've got cool breeze. So luckily enough, this heat isn't killing me as much as I thought it was going to, because now I've got this long straight of water and all the cool breeze is coming right at me. It's luxury. Oh. So yeah, so like I say, even though we're in the hottest part of the day, it actually feels cooler now thanks to this change in wind direction and the wind actually picking up in strength as well. The downside to it though, a lot of the floating weed that was up there is now wrapped around my rod tips and giving me a lot of false bleats at the moment, so at some point I'm going to have to go out in my waders and clear that off my rod tips, but I don't care. Cool breeze. Right then guys, it's what's the time? About 8 o'clock in the evening now, and as to be expected with these weather conditions, not a lot has happened. But well, but believe it or not, a couple of fish have come out 2 swims to my right and further down the lake. So there are fish coming out around the lake, but I've just sat in my bivvy watching the water, and a fish has just boshed out right in the middle of my swim, probably about 3 rod lengths out, which is probably in line with kind of these reeds just here, and it was a biggie. It was like a pig jumping out of the water, so it was easily a 30. So I'm going to wind in my middle rod and rechuck it close in, just on them, well, obviously in line with these, but about just there. I think this wind, since it changed direction, has been pushing into this bank all day, and well, it's obviously brought at least one fish with it, so let's do that rod, and hopefully that fish is still there. That is about spot on where that fish boshed out. Morning guys, and unfortunately I think in the night I have been done. When I woke up I went down to have a look at my rods and my right hand bobbin was right up tight. I let off line and it kept coming up tight, and it let off line, it kept coming off tight, and so I thought, oh, I'll pick that rod up and check it. And when I picked it up, oh, the line was really tight, and I thought, oh, what's going on here? And it took a little while to pull free, but yeah, unfortunately I think I've been done in the night on that rod, because the lead has gone, and that only happens when you've had a pickup and well, I don't know, it could have happened when I was winding in that big ball of weed, I don't know, but yeah, there was no fish attached, but just a massive ball of weed attached to the rig. So yeah, I mean, when I got here I led it around on them spots and I know there was no weed out there, so yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've been done in the night, and a fish has picked up the rig and then managed to ditch it into some weed that was out there somewhere. So hey ho. Right guys, I've just been having a bit of another lead around in my swim, but a lot closer in this time. When I said to you yesterday evening, I had that fish bosh out literally right in front of me, about 3 rod lengths out. After I wound a rod in and underarm flung it out, I probably had about another 4 or 5 fish, possibly the same fish that boshed out, but 4 or 5 more shows in that kind of same kind of area right in front of me. So yeah, this change in wind direction has certainly brought a fish, if not some fish, down with it as well. So so my last few hours of fishing this morning is going to be all 3 rods close in. I'm going to try one rod just round the corner of these reeds here to my right. It means sort of having to go round to the left of my swim just at a shot to get the angle to cast round that way, but like I say, I've just been doing that with my marker rod, and it's even right in front of the reeds. It just seems like the reeds just end dead and then there's nothing, so it is nice and clear there. So yeah, so I'm going to put a rod literally round the corner, probably just a rod length round the corner from the corner of the reed there. The middle rod will go back out in front, literally an underarm plop again, and then the right hand rod I'll put up against these reeds here behind me, because yeah, there's been no fish showing long where I have been fishing, so put the rods on where they have been showing, and that is close in. any fishy action happens. This is going to be the last cast of the session. Fingers crossed. Right then guys, unfortunately I'm coming to the end of my session now. Everything else is packed up. It's literally just the rods that are out now, so yeah, unfortunately my 5th trip has defeated me again. It seems like the very first session I had here, the place gave me a teaser by giving me 2 fish, and then, you know, just to whet my appetite on the place, and then yeah, it's not really given up its prizes since then, no matter all the sort of the different tactics that I'm trying. I know my rigs work, you know PVA bags work, I know Hinder's baits work, so to be fair, I think I was going to be up against it all weekend, to be fair, with this hot weekend. I mean, as you're probably watching it now, you know, the hot weekend was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever you're watching this, but yeah, when you come out fishing in kind of scorching hot weekends like we've had this weekend, yeah, you're always going to be up against it, especially in a water that doesn't really perform well on zigs and floaters. It pretty much is a bottom bake, you know, type lake. So yeah, like I say, it's been another tough one. Like I say, the weather has been nice for us humans, but for the fishing side of it, it just, yeah, it hasn't been. Not on this lake anyway. Another lake, yeah, I'd whack out the zigs all day long, but yeah, just not to say I won't try zigs on a future, you know, session here, but yeah, it's been a tough one. And yeah, towards, like I say, yesterday evening I did start seeing fish in my swim once the wind switched round, and I put the rod short, you know, where they were showing, but yeah, unfortunately still nothing. Picked up my baited rigs. Was that a mistake on my part by going solid bags only and not baiting? It's the first time I've not baited and just tried as singles. Was that right? Was it wrong? I'll let you decide. But yeah, I'll next time I think I'll go back to a baiting strategy of some sort. Which one yet? I don't know. So anyway, I am fishing again next weekend. As I said in the last video, I'm meeting up with my mate Sean again at Hartleton Fishery in Hereford. So to next week, guys, tight lines, and I'll see you then.